Hi everyone, hope you're having a good day. Want to do a quick video on this concept I call hearing cleanly. I'll share some alternative versions of it. As a concept, what does it mean? Well, basically, when it comes to interactions and relationships, right, we have these two sides, at least two. And, on the speaking sides of things, there's certain practices and habits to kind of speak cleanly. And by speaking cleanly here, I can mean things like owning your experience, which, are these acknowledgments of your own subjectivity, I think, etc. But it also means like without what? Like your kind of shadow side, your triggers, your manipulations, all these things that might kind of leak into an interaction. Right, let's take those out. We don't want those. Speaking kind of adult to adult here with respect and fairness. Without harshness might be another way of saying it. The therapist Terry Real has a great quote about harshness, and he says, there's nothing that harshness can do that loving firmness can't do better. Loving firmness, and if you're familiar with nonviolent communication or any of the other, kind of communication models, that kind of should be familiar to you, and there's a lot to say about that. You have a lot of control over that, so understandably there is a lot of attention paid to like how you frame things, how you say things, as it impacts other people. So you can see where I'm going here. The other side of this is on the hearing side. Because what I found is that if you don't also take responsibility for how you hear, that makes it more likely that you can kind of point the finger at the other person for kind of not speaking correctly. A clear example of this would be like basically someone who was a manager maybe is not a manager anymore, or someone who thinks they have some authority over you that they don't. Kind of speaking down to you or like telling you to kind of do something in a particular way, right? Like a command or a mandate. So we could look at that and say, that's not good. That's, harsh, right? That is not clean speaking. And, in a situation in which we were kind of talking to that person or analyzing that or coaching them or what have you, then yes, that's a fair point to make to that person. But if you are this person, if you're the listener, if you're the receiver of this harshness, it's not fair to you. You don't deserve any of that. But the problem is, if you kind of take that harshness and you do what they say, right? They're giving you a command or a mandate, and you don't think they should be, but you don't push back, right? You just do it. Well, it's only then that there's a problem, right? So the idea of hearing cleanly is about taking some responsibility for clarifying things that are unclear to you. It may seem likely, for example, something is coming out like a mandate or is harsh, right? It may seem that way. But in that case, then, you have the responsibility on the listening side to clarify. So if it was like the mandate, you might say, is that a pitch you want me to consider? Or is there some policy or authority I don't know? I'm going to move it up. know about? Right, and this can be asked in this kind of loving, firm way. I mean, yeah, this could be likely that you kind of already know that it, or you can just likely suspect that they were not thinking of this as a pitch. They were thinking of it as an order or something that you must do. With that said, then, give them the benefit of the doubt. Hear cleanly. Everyone has the right to kind of have a bad day and not say the thing the most perfect way possible. Something like the hearing cleanly, speaking cleanly gives us this idea of like 2 points of failure here, right? Like the speaker has to fail and the listener has to fail for the interaction and the communication to break down. Hearing cleanly, just as a principle, I'm going to build on this quite a bit, but it's important to kind of just quickly do the concept, is about asking these questions to clarify the meaning or the intent of someone's communication, and not just pointing the finger at them for not saying it exactly the right kind of way. That's all I'll say for today. Again, I'm going to build on this in a lot of different ways coming up, specifically as it relates to kind of how we go about talking to each other and kind of more respectful and adult ways. But since so much is built upon it, I wanted to do a quick little video on just the concept itself. Thanks so much.